Good evening and welcome to News Tonight, where we get you the day's biggest news and events from across India and the world. I'm Tina Jha. Let's begin with the headlines. Vote bank politics destroying country like termites. Prime Minister Modi tells BJP workers at mega rally in Bhopal on the birth anniversary of Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay. Takes a dig at the Congress for trying to strike alliances with smaller parties. Can't disqualify tainted lawmakers, says Supreme Court. Reminds Parliament to enact law to keep criminals away from elections. Gives slew of directions on publicising criminal cases of lawmakers to help voters make informed choices. Flash floods disrupt normal life in North India. 25 people lose their lives in rain-related incidents in Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir and Haryana. Over 50 trekkers, including 2 German nationals and 35 IIT Roorkee students, rescued from Lahaul Spiti. President Ramnath Kovind felicitates sportspersons. Mirabai Chanu and Virat Kohli received Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna Awards. 20 athletes, including Neeraj Chopra, Hima Das and Manika Batra, get Arjuna Awards. America will always pursue sovereignty over global governance, says US President Donald Trump in speech at UN General Assembly. Claims more sanctions will be imposed on Iran, asserts that US will not be taken advantage of, even as he praises North Korea's steps towards denuclearization. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed a mega rally of party workers in Polban, Madhya Pradesh on the birth anniversary of Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay. Saving the country from vote bank politics, he said, is the BJP's objective. He also asserted that the lotus will bloom, however much it is maligned by the opposition, in fact, the Congress party. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Tuesday addressed the Karyakarta Mahakumbh in Bhopal in Polban, Madhya Pradesh. Targeting opposition parties, the Prime Minister alleged that the Congress and other opposition parties are pursuing vote bank politics that is eating away the country like termites over the past 7 decades. He said his government believes in social justice for all.
वोट बैंक की राजनीति ने समाज को दीमक की तरह तबाह कर दिया है। आजादी के 70 साल में जो बर्बादी आई, उससे अगर देश को बचाना है, तो हमारे सामने ये वोट बैंक की राजनीति की दीमक से देश को मुक्त कराना, ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी की विशेष जिम्मेवारी है.
Mocking the Congress, the Prime Minister said the 125-year-old party has been reduced to begging with small parties for alliances. He also said the Congress found it easier to indulge in mudslinging than debating on development.
जरा कांग्रेस के लोग आत्मचिंतन करो, ये आपका बेहाल क्यों हुआ? और आप इतने पराजय के बाद भी सुधरने को तैयार नहीं है. इतना बड़ा 440 में से 44 हो गए, आत्मचिंतन करने को तैयार नहीं है. और उसका कारण अहंकार, उसका कारण ये गद्दियां तो हमारे लिए रिजर्व है. Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay.
Paying tribute to the Sangh co-founder Deen Dayal Upadhyay on his 102nd birth anniversary, Prime Minister Modi said his life remains an inspiration. He also remembered former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
पंडित दीनदयाल उपाध्याय जी की जन्म जयंती है. शायद विश्व में हम ही एक ऐसी पार्टी है जिस पार्टी की विचारधारा के जिस एक शब्द में जाना जाता है वो है एकात्म मानववाद.
In his address, BJP President Amit Shah called on party workers to ensure the party's victory in upcoming 5 state elections and the 2019 Lok Sabha election.
19 प्रदेशों में भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार बनी है. जिस महाकुंभ में जितने भी कार्यकर्ता हैं, लाखों की संख्या में मध्य प्रदेश के हर बूथ से 65,000 से ज्यादा बूथों से जो कार्यकर्ता हैं, हम सब एक संकल्प लेकर जाएं कि आने वाले 5 चुनाव और आने वाला लोकसभा का चुनाव ये मध्य प्रदेश से एक ऐसी हवा बनाए जो हवा धीरे धीरे आंधी में और लोकसभा का चुनाव आते आते सुनामी में परिवर्तित कर भारतीय जनता पार्टी का ध्वज फिर से एक बार ऊंचा करने का काम करें.
हमने जो कहा करके दिखाया, अगर उन कामों का भी विवरण दें तो पूरा दिन यहां लग जाए. अरे तुमने तो मेरे मध्य प्रदेश को बीमारू बना के रखा था. जहां चले जाओ दुनिया में मध्य प्रदेश के बारे में कहा जाता था बीमारू प्रदेश, बीमारू राज्य. राहुल बाबा बीमारू से मध्य प्रदेश को हमने विकासशील राज्य बनाया. विकासशील राज्य से अब विकसित राज्य बनाया और आगे 5 साल में कार्यकर्ता बहनों और भाइयों मध्य प्रदेश को समृद्ध राज्य बनाएंगे, समृद्ध राज्य बनाएंगे.
मेरा बूथ सबसे मजबूत बूथ.
Prime Minister Modi also exhorted BJP workers to follow the mantra of Mera Booth Sabse Mazboot to ensure the party's victory in the upcoming elections. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. The Supreme Court has declined to bar candidates facing serious criminal cases from contesting elections. Terming corruption as a national economic terror, the Apex Court put the onus on the Parliament to enact a strong law to ensure decriminalization of politics. The 5-judge bench also asked political parties and candidates to publish their criminal records at least 3 times in print and electronic media after filing nomination papers to ensure that the ordinary voter can make an informed choice. The 100-page verdict was pronounced on a batch of pleas, raising questions whether lawmakers facing criminal trial can be disqualified from contesting elections at the stage of framing of charges against them. The law in its present form bars candidates from entering the poll fray only after their conviction in a criminal case. And the Supreme Court on Tuesday dismissed a plea seeking to ban lawmakers from practicing as advocates in courts across the country. A bench headed by Chief Justice Deepak Mishra said that the Bar Council of India rules do not prohibit legislators from practicing as lawyers. The court was hearing a petition filed by BJP leader and advocate Ashwini Upadhyay seeking to bar lawmakers like MPs, MLAs, MLCs from practicing in courts during their tenure in legislature. The counsel appearing for Upadhyay had told the court that a lawmaker draws a salary from the public exchequer and a salaried employee is barred by the Bar Council of India from practicing in the courts of law. The Supreme Court extended its deadline to the Uttar Pradesh government till the 15th of November on submitting a vision document to protect the Taj Mahal. The state government informed the court that it will be difficult to declare Agra a heritage city, but some portion of it could be brought within its ambit, covering sites like Taj Mahal, Fatehpur Sikri and the Agra Fort. The state government said the Delhi-based School of Planning and Architecture, which is preparing the vision document, has sought time till 15 November to finalize it. Appearing for the state, Additional Solicitor General Tushar Mehta said the state government also sought the assistance of Ahmedabad-based Centre for Environmental Planning and Technology on the issue. The state government had earlier told the court that it will come out with a vision document by the 15th of October. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley chaired the annual review meeting on public sector banks' performance and reforms in New Delhi on Tuesday. He said non-performing assets are on the decline as recoveries have picked up. Jaitley also asked public sector banks to take effective action in cases of fraud and willful loan defaults. He exuded confidence that India's economy will sustain an annual growth rate of around 8%.
Finance Minister Arun Jaitley reviewed the performance of public sector banks with their chief executives and other whole-time directors in New Delhi on Tuesday. The finance minister asserted that the impact of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Court was clearly visible as non-performing assets were on the decline. He also exhorted banks to implement all steps needed to ensure clean lending and effective action in cases of fraud and willful default.
Recoveries have picked up not only because of the resolutions which have taken place in the NCLT, but they've also picked up because those debtors who fear that they are likely to cross the red line are paying up in anticipation of an IBC process being compelled on them.
Jaitley also said that formalization of the economy has enabled better assessment of financial capacity and risks. This, coupled with massive financial inclusion, has unlocked purchasing power that will drive India's economic growth.
We want this cycle of high consumption, high growth, NPA recoveries, credit offtake, really to be utilized to the fullest in order to help as far as the economy is concerned.
Banks have stepped up efforts as far as recovery of bad loans is concerned. Lenders have made recovery of 36,551,000 crore rupees in the first quarter of the current fiscal. This is 49% higher than the same quarter of the last fiscal. Kriti Mishra, Rajya Sabha TV.
The finance minister also launched a web portal on Tuesday. The portal will enable in-principle approval for MSME loans up to 1 crore rupees within 59 minutes. The portal aims to set a new benchmark in loan processing and reduces the turnaround time from 20-25 days to just 59 minutes. The loan can be taken from SIDBI, SBI, Bank of Baroda, PNB, Vijaya and Indian Bank. The loans are undertaken without human intervention till sanction and or disbursement stage. A user-friendly platform has been built where MSME borrower is not required to submit any physical document for in-principle approval.
The MSME sector has been a matter of great concern because it's one of the largest employers, and therefore credit availability to them to be free from all forms of red tapeism, to be done online and within the shortest period is the second initiative.
On to some other news. Heavy rains and cloudbursts in parts of Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab and Haryana have killed at least 25 people. Cloudbursts triggered flash floods and landslides that have blocked highways and damaged several houses and crops. Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Jairam Thakur informed that the group of 50 trekkers, including 35 students of IIT Roorkee that was reported missing, is safe in Sisu area of Lahaul Spiti district. The group of trekkers had gone missing after heavy snowfall in the region. 2 German nationals have also been rescued by the Indian Air Force from Pingdomla area of Lahaul Spiti district. Environment Minister Dr. Harsh Vardhan on Tuesday inaugurated the Air Pollution Control Device Wind Augmentation Purifying Unit at the ITO intersection and Mukarba Chowk in New Delhi. The device, Vayu, is developed by the Council of Science and Industrial Research to mitigate air pollution at traffic junctions. Along with particulate matter, it will remove poisonous gases like volatile organic compounds and carbon monoxide. The device works on two principles, mainly wind generation to dilute air pollutants while removing active pollutants. Describing the salient features of Vayu, Dr. Harsh Vardhan said, the device consumes only half a unit of electricity for 10 hours of running and has a maintenance cost of only 1,500 rupees per month. He further added that 54 such devices will be launched in Delhi till the 15th of October.
आसपास की हवा को बेहतर बनाना ये इसका उद्देश्य है। आने वाले समय में इसके कई सारे मॉडल्स नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ डिज़ाइन के माध्यम से, आईआईटी मुंबई के इंडस्ट्रियल डिज़ाइन डिपार्टमेंट के माध्यम से विकसित किए जा रहे हैं ताकि बस शेल्टर्स पर और दूसरे स्थानों पर इसको हम लगा सकें।
And Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu on Tuesday attended the 29th anniversary of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan at Tirupati in Andhra Pradesh. In his address, the Vice President said students should work together for the development of the country with a sense of collective responsibility. He said the role of education is to enhance knowledge and self-confidence and not just getting certificates and jobs. He also called skill development a pressing need in today's times.
We are fortunate. The entire world economy is going slow down and Indian economy is moving up. World Bank, World Economic Forum, ADB, International Monetary Fund, Moody ratings, everybody is saying India is going to become a strong economy. We are fortunate to be there in that period. It is our duty, our endeavor, all of us today to work together, work hard, join Government of India, Government of the state and universities and institutions together and make people to participate in public programs so that we can make a strong and stable and prosperous nation.
The 73rd session of the United Nations General Assembly has begun. 95 heads of states, 4 vice presidents, 42 heads of governments, 3 deputy prime ministers and 48 ministers are present at the annual debate. The address by the first batch of leaders is currently underway. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres warned that the world has reached a pivotal moment in global warming and risks runaway climate change if leaders do not act in the next 2 years. US President Donald Trump said in less than 2 years since his election, his country has never been stronger, safer and richer. He also highlighted his achievement with North Korea, but added that sanctions will continue until denuclearization is carried out. External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj will address the general debate on 29th of this month.
Additional sanctions will resume November 5th, and more will follow. And we are working with countries that import Iranian crude oil to cut their purchases substantially. We cannot allow the world's leading sponsor of terrorism to possess the planet's most dangerous weapons.
And for more on the story, we're being joined by Mr. Pramit Pal Chaudhury, Foreign Affairs Editor of the Hindustan Times. A very good evening, sir, and thank you for joining us on News Tonight. What do you think are the crucial global issues expected to take center stage at the UNGA this year, sir?
Well, this year will be an unusually low-key UN General Assembly. Xi Jinping of China, Vladimir Putin of Russia, Narendra Modi of India will not be attending. So you'll see a fragmented agenda, I think, with various countries pushing their national interests. So you saw that President Trump pushed on North Korea and Iran,
Yes.
as he had more or less done last year, though he was much more moderate in his language regarding that. The UN Secretary General, of course, emphasized the issue of climate change, which is a big global issue and which needs to be addressed and has been partially addressed by the rest of the world, but not, of course, with the help of the United States anymore. There will also be concerns about the global economy, the global trading system, under pressure because of the tariff war between the US and China. And the increasing use of unilateral trade action by various countries, including the United States.
Yes.
So I see those as being the broad areas, and I don't see any major consensus arising from the UNGA this time. There's not too much, as I said, pulling the countries of the world together in this present year.
As regards India, sir, in your opinion, what do you think will be the focus of Sushma Swaraj's address this time?
Well, what will happen is that because we will be facing national elections probably early next year, her speech will be really geared towards a domestic audience. So I expect her to highlight a number of India's domestic accomplishments, the Modi government's accomplishments,
Yes.
Whether it's digital India and so on. And I think she will also make a pitch to restore confidence in the Indian economy about what India has accomplished economically, because as you know, the Indian rupee is under severe pressure. the exchange rate has been falling against the dollar. And part of that reason, of course, is that foreign capital is beginning to leave India in this present so-called emerging markets tantrum. And so I expect her to try to reassure foreign investors and the rest of the world that the Indian economy is in very sure and safe hands. There may be a touch on various other issues that interest us, of course, which is terrorism, especially coming out of Pakistan, or at least the AFPAC area, if you wish. And those I see are the primary areas that she'll push on. But there are a number of other areas. It'll be a lengthy speech, I'm sure.
Another thing, sir, very little has happened over India's push for a permanent place at the UN Security Council. Do you see India pushing more aggressively for it this time?
Well, we've never really given up pushing for it, but it's presently stuck. There's no, having gotten a draft text for a change in the UN General, through the UNGA, the General Assembly a few years ago, it's now more or less stuck. We don't have China support for change. We don't have America support for a change. I've heard that even Russia is not particularly enthusiastic. So at present, to take the next stage, which is to actually get the UN to agree that both the P5 countries, the permanent five, and the General Assembly to agree to, what should we say, seats to be increased, even if they don't have veto power on the Security Council, that simply doesn't, there's simply no consensus on that. So therefore, we can lobby, and we will keep reminding countries of our interest and try to garner support. But the UN right now has no appetite for that kind of change. So I think I would expect us to keep the issue alive, but not expect any really further, any great progress on that front.
All right, sir. Many thanks for joining us on News Tonight and sharing your perspective on what could be expected out of Sushma Swaraj's address at the UNGA this year. Moving on, Germany has requested India to resume talks on free trade agreement with the European Union. The German ambassador said such a move will give a positive signal at a time when tariff war and monopolistic trade tendencies are impacting trade environment around the world. India and the European Union will have to join hands to defeat the tariff war unleashed by US President Donald Trump and China's monopolistic practices, says German Ambassador Martin Ney. He told media persons on Tuesday that a joint EU-India front on trade will be formidable strategically and politically.
About free trade agreement is to send a very strong political signal in today's world, where a certain individual in a Western country doubts free trade, where you have a northern neighbor who has a rather centric view about the future of trade. In this political environment, to sit down and spell out a free trade agreement is setting the standard for the future.
Since UK's exit, only 4 European Union manufacturing nations, including Germany, can counter Chinese monopoly. Which is why the German ambassador says India should assure trade protection to European countries and also try to match industrial standards of Europe for ease of investment while shunning protectionism.
A very important part is setting industrial standards. If we want to produce and prepare our economies for Industry 4.0 and we develop standards, the standards inside the European Union and the standards in India should be the same one.
India and EU are holding talks on a free trade agreement since 2007, but obstacles remain, with EU raising data protection issues and India acting tough on taxes for European wines, cars, etc. But recent developments, including the US tariff war, sanctions against China, and the Chinese BRI initiative, have increased the need to maintain strategic closeness. Recently, an Indian delegation visited Brussels to evolve a common strategy on these issues.
Germany is also trying to persuade the European Commission to expedite the free trade agreement with India. Germany thinks that India is a strategically important country, and the sooner it will be, the better it will be. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Junaid in Delhi.
Cricketer Virat Kohli and weightlifter Saikom Mirabai Chanu were honoured with the country's highest sports awards, the Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna, on Tuesday. President Ramnath Kovind presented the awards. Here's a detailed report on the National Sports Award winners for 2018.
With the Honourable President of the country, Shri Ramnath Kovind, gracing the evening to commence the National Sports and Adventure Awards 2018.
President Ramnath Kovind on Tuesday conferred the annual Sports Awards 2018 to sportspersons at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. Indian cricket captain Virat Kohli and world champion weightlifter Mirabai Chanu were honoured with the prestigious Rajiv Gandhi Khel Ratna. President Kovind conferred the highest sports awards to the two sporting greats who have made India proud at various tournaments. The Dronacharya Awards for 2018 were conferred to Subedar Chinanda Achaiya Kuttappa for boxing, Vijay Sharma for weightlifting, A. Srinivasa Rao for table tennis, Sukhdev Singh Pannu for athletics, with the Lifetime Award going to Clarence Lobo for his contribution in coaching hockey players. Other Lifetime awardees are Tarak Sinha for cricket, Jeevan Kumar Sharma for judo and V.R. Bidu for athletics. The Arjuna Award for this year have been given to Neeraj Chopra for athletics, Naib Subedar Jensen Johnson for athletics, Hima Das for athletics, N. Sikki Reddy for badminton, Subedar Satish Kumar for boxing, Smriti Mandhana for cricket, Shubhankar Sharma for golf, Manpreet Singh for hockey, Savita for hockey, Colonel Ravi Rathore for polo, Rahi Sarnobat, Ankur Mittal and Shreyasi Singh for shooting, Manika Batra and G. Satyan for their achievements in table tennis, Rohan Bopanna for tennis, Sumit for wrestling and Pooja Kadyan for wushu. Ankur Dhama and Manoj Sarkar were given the award for para-athletics and para-badminton respectively. Four sportspersons were honoured by President Kovind for their lifetime contribution towards sports development. The Dhyan Chand Award for this year was conferred to Satyadev Prasad for his contribution to archery, Bharat Kumar Chhetri for hockey, Bobby Aloysius for athletics and Chogle Dadu Dattatreya for wrestling. The Rashtriya Khel Protsahan Puraskar was conferred to Rashtriya Ispat Nigam Limited, JSW Sports and Isha Outreach. Guru Nanak Dev University in Amritsar received the Maulana Abul Kalam Azad Trophy for top performance in inter-university tournaments. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. And that's it from us in this bulletin. Thanks for your time.